Twitter works fast, but it doesn't scale crazy hard. We made 100K a month on Twitter. Less than half of it was strategy, and then more than half of it was results. One, on like a more macro, more relatable, like whenever I watch like a Mosey content, right? He talks all about people that he's talked to and companies that he's worked with that had a problem, and he talks about the solution. But he doesn't go in depth for an hour on his specific company. He doesn't even give away their identity. And you still resonate with it, and he still builds plenty of authority. Another thing I think of how people do case study interviews on their YouTube channel, right? With the thumbnail, the title, and in the first 2 minutes, you know exactly the transformation that person went through. 99% of people, that's all they clicked on for anyway. They just want to see that a tangible human being went through the transformation that you say that you can promise them. So my thought process is like, what is and I'm actually reading the Sam Walton thing right now, right? And
is that the Walmart guy?
Yeah, he beats this down. He's like, if you lower the price, you can sell enough more to make more money than if you sold at the higher price, right? You sell so much more at the discounted price that you make more money than if you sold at the premium price. So I think of the same thing with case studies. Like, if you just provide less content, you're going to get more people to get through it and book a call than if you just provide the full, like if you convert 100% of the people on your 1 hour case study and it's only 10 people that watch it all the way through, where if I have a short 1 minute case study and I get 10,000 people to get through it and I only convert 10%, I still booked 1,000 and you booked 100, right? So that's my thought process.
Yeah. And I didn't want to believe it at first because I was like, They said lead with value, but maybe there's different kinds of value. It's not just information value. It's also make me believe value. So if you can make people believe, like the guy that's giving you the fitness tips didn't do as much as the guy that made you believe that you could get fit, because he's the reason why you started it. Even though it was just an inspirational quote, maybe belief value, information value, it's not that one is valuable and the other one isn't. They're just different. Which I wanted to talk to you about something. Yes, your threats. So you send me a few of your threats. Obviously, we're not gonna disclose to anybody, but bro, niche versus viral content, because this was very interesting to me. What was interesting to me was how the content was kind of general. The CTA was low friction, and it was also very specific. So I don't want to give out the entire sauce or who it is, but like, what is your thought process behind these kind of threads and call to actions? And if you could include examples and stories, that'd be awesome.
I had this thought process months ago when I started like scaling my agency a bit. I just always thought how, and like this goes back to how you always said like it's hard to trust people who are like hardcore on one side or the other. Like most things require nuance, right? And I was confused at how either there was people that were writing only niche content and they swear by it and they say platitudes are stupid, because this was like if you've been around the Twitter game, is like you've been through the waves, right? Everybody was on platitude land, and then everybody was on shit on the platitudes suck land. And I was like, maybe the answer is just like in the middle, right? And then so my thought processes was, if you're a niche all the way, you're not going to get enough organic reach to grow the brand enough in a short amount of time to keep the business alive, because you need revenue to keep the business alive to then to fund the actual content production in the first place, right? So my thought process was, if we can go viral enough to get eyeballs to then view our niche content, right? So we have the niche content and the viral content at the same time, then we can grow and get more eyeballs on our offer and still nurture them all at the same time, right? So that was my thought process. So for example, of a client who sells a coaching program, right? And instead of doing just case study threads and sawdust and social proof and breakdowns of his exact method that he coaches, I was like, why don't I go a bit more general? Because 99% of, for example, Andrew Tate's content is mindset, right? But then he sells a course on crypto and day trading and e-com and stuff, right? I'm like, that didn't sit well with me. I'm like, how can he sell a course on businesses but just talk about masculinity all the time? But it works, right? He's doing $5 million a month. So I'm like, surely you got to talk about mindset a little bit. So then I just dabbled with it, kind of like a bar that you can put like 75% mindset and 25% tactics, and then like eventually I just landed in the middle. Just like, what if I could just do like a bunch of mindset and a bunch of niche content, and then get all the eyeballs and then convert all the eyeballs that way? So having a coach that talks about mindset, personal development, all these things, but then also gives away the sauce and sells the implementation at the same time. I think that was the healthy balance that I landed on, and it was validated recently. One of my team members, which I want to talk about team and culture in a little bit, one of my team members sent me a thing of Gary Vee talking about it. And Gary Vee said, I think you should have some broad content as well because it's important because you want to grow. And that kind of just validated. We were like, well, yeah, like that's kind of what we landed on too.